Now, aside from the stages we just learned, there's a timeline to the development of what children can do developmentally when it comes to learning vocabulary. So we start with our pre-K students. These are our fours and our fives. And generally, children that have been read to and speak with their families and teachers have about a vocabulary of 3,500 words. And that's a very good base to start our school classrooms and build upon. Now, when we move into kindergarten, boys and girls have about 5,000 words. And so the difference here is we see children, once they get to school, really learning more about book language, learning some of that academic vocabulary that's around that tier 2, and learning to discuss stories and learn opposites. And so that basis is about 2,000 words, 1,500 to 2,000 words. Once boys and girls move into first grade, they gain about 3,000 more words. And this is because they're learning literacy-related language through lots of explicit instruction of new topics. Think about it. When you get to first grade, your teachers are teaching you things you've never heard of before. Things like onomatopoeia, things like nouns and verbs and adjectives, and all the words that go along with those kinds of words. And so all of a sudden you're rapidly thrown into this world of higher level vocabulary. And so we see a big jump. Now, the jump from first grade to second grade is another big jump. So by second grade, those students have about 10,000 words under their belt. And this is, again, they're learning literacy-related language, but it's more through the thematic units and content area instruction. Up until this point, up until about second grade, the themes for the content we're learning are things that they may have already encountered in life. Science, they might be doing sink or float. They might be learning about the pilgrims in social studies. They might be learning about germs and health. And chances are, if they've been spoken to and read to, they've heard about a lot of these concepts. When you get to second grade, though, they start learning more about history, more about science, and developing math skills that are brand new. And so these thematic units and content-based knowledge really start to make a jump in their vocabulary. Also, we discuss words like antonyms and synonyms and other kinds of words that build their vocabulary. In third grade, we add about another 3,000 words. And again, that's because we start getting into new content. Also, third graders are developing word consciousness. And this is where they're understanding that words have multiple meanings and that we have figurative language out there that works in a very different way than regular literal language. And those two kind of categories of words help build the scope of their vocabulary, make it much bigger and much deeper. Around fourth grade, we add another 3,000 words, and this is where we see a huge gap widen between the students that are on level with their reading and writing and the students that are struggling. And the vocabulary is where they get hung up many times. And when they have this lack of vocabulary and a lack of understanding of the text they're reading, this makes school really tough. The difference between third grade and fourth grade is usually third grade students are still being read to by their teachers, and third grade teachers are still really teaching students. And that learning becomes a little more independent and self-directed in fourth grade. They may be reading on their own a lot more independently, and this causes students who are strugglers to flounder. And so this is where in fourth grade, vocabulary development and comprehension activities before, during, and after instruction are vital to the success of all students. And that's what's going to catch those strugglers and help them, even if they do have to read independently.